Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a break with Stephen Shamus.
Good to see you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
You like
Always a pleasure.
Like my turquoise. Like
it's
my
very
turquoise
you wear the plain T-shirt well. It's a good look for you. I always have graphics on my.
What do you have today? What do you have?
Star
today?
Wars. It's a Star Wars shirt. Luke Skywalker. I think. Yeah, there
got
it is.
And an empty box in the background. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got so much stuff coming in and out. It's a buyer's market, and I'm buying too much.
Thank you. All right, Alex. What do we got to do today?
Oh, we're gonna be rapid firing today. Razor Fist, Mandarin, Blue Beetle, V for Vendetta, Midnight Man, which is wow. Someone really didn't have time to think of a name for that one. And Utah,
That's funny.
Utah the Watcher.
That's funny. Okay. All right. So what are we going to do first, Alex?
Let's talk Razor Fist. Some of the best names.
Right. These like Rob Liefeld characters, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just got knife for hands.
Okay, so obviously the new Shang-Chi film is out. Are going to start trickling some of these bonus stuff going out, and you're going to start to see massive price increases. The issue with some of these guests that are appearing in some of these upcoming films is they're older books, they're older titles, so there's not a lot of high grades in them. So talk a little bit about the character Razor Fist. Shang-Chi, all that other good stuff. What's going on there, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, Razor Fist is definitely a Shang-Chi villain. There's 3 different ones. One of them died, and then the other one was 2 brothers who had the same name, and they only had one razor on one hand, and then they got their arms cut off, so they had 2. It's like essentially it's a person who has swords for hands. I don't know how he eats soup. That must be really hard.
With scissor hands?
Yeah, I guess. Like at least then you could pick stuff up with 2 swords. How do you do anything? Okay. Just a background villain, but he's in the Shang-Chi movie.
Got it. Okay, so Master of Kung Fu number 29, June of 1975. Very low pop book. Yes. These books don't have a high pop at all.
Right.
Again, I think even if you can find a mid-grade copy, go get one because they're impossible to find. 7 blue label, 0 gold label 9/8, 25 blue label, 0 gold label 9/6, 19 blue label, 0 gold 9/4, and a 9/8 recently traded at $3,000. It actually doesn't seem
that's
crazy.
Pretty high. Yeah.
$900 for a 9/6 and about $575 for a 9/4. That is the first appearance of Razor Fist, William Young. It's a Gil Kane cover, very cool cover. Gil Kane with Al Milgrom.
Yeah.
So it's classic cover. So I think you're going to start to see the Shang-Chi stuff on the rise for sure. Okay, what do we got? And we're going to, like you said, we're going to be rapid fire here on these first appearances. Okay, What do you got next, Alex?
Let's talk Mandarin. Keeping the Shang-Chi.
Right. So keeping with Shang-Chi, you have the Mandarin, which is going to be a different Mandarin than we saw in Iron Man. So it'll be totally different. Again, the characters from 1964. So Alex, talk a little bit about the Mandarin that we saw previously, and then this Mandarin. And is this Mandarin the one that's really in the comic books?
Yeah. So the one we saw from Iron Man, I mean, there was the end credit scene where it was, the one guy comes out and he's like, now the true Mandarin, now we'll show them the true Mandarin, So the one we saw in the movie was Ben Kingston, Gandhi himself. Obviously,
I was just going to say that, by the way. I just going to say it. It was Gandhi.
That's the best one, right?
Gandhi.
That was the fake thing, the false, to get everybody kind of tricked. But we're going to see actually the Mandarin in Shang-Chi, and the 10 rings, which were actual rings, are going to be the big bracelets that we're seeing here, which is a little bit of reimagining. But the Mandarin has been an Iron Man villain and Shang-Chi villain for a long time in the comic books.
Yeah, it's funny, when I started looking up all the comics, like it's mostly an Iron Man. There's not really a lot of Mandarin and Shang-Chi, so it'll be interesting how they bring him into the universe. Again, very old book, Tales of Suspense, number 50, February of 1964. 2 blue label, 0 gold label 9/8. By the way, when we do these pops and we say 2 and 5 and 7, and like those books are out there somewhere. Somebody has that in their collection. And I think what you're going to start to see is like what you saw on the sports cards, where you're going to see this, like these books are going to come out and they're going to sell for $100,000 each. Even though it might be a $500 book, it just because there's so few of them.
Check your heritage emails. They're going to be hitting.
Like if there's 2 blue label 9.8s of Tales of Suspense 50. If that comes to market, that could just sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars, like you're seeing with the sports cards.
Yeah.
7 blue label, 0 gold label 9.6s, 12 blue label, 0 gold label 9.4s, 15 blue label, 1 gold label 9.2, and 26 blue label, 1 gold label 9.0.
Wow.
An 8.0 recently sold for $2,500 and a 6.5 sold for $1,200. It's the first appearance of the Mandarin. Tales of the Watcher backup story. By the way, when we talk about the Watcher, the Tales of Suspense are very close in issue numbers.
Exactly.
It's a great, again, Stan Lee story, a Jack Kirby cover, classic cover. Then we go to Tales of Suspense 54. Interestingly enough, this is when you think about this run, you have Mandarin and the Watcher in this run. Maybe somebody at Marvel Studios was reading this run and decided, hey,
probably
there's all these.
They got the old essential newsprints, just flipping through them. Yeah.
Right. So Tales of Suspense number 54, June of 1964. 2 blue label, 0 gold label 9.8s, 6 blue label, 0 gold label 9.6s, 14 blue label, 0 gold label 9.4s, 23 blue label, 0 gold label 9.2s, and 23 blue label, 0 gold label 9.0s. It's about $1,000 book in 9.2, a $1,200 book in 9.4. Again, it's a Mandarin appearance. It's a Jack Kirby cover. It's a great cover. And again, you have Tales of the Watcher backup story, and it's a Stan Lee story. So again, it's another classic Mandarin cover. Both of these books are really going to be the ones to buy.
Yeah, they're getting there.
All right, cool. What do we got next, Alex?
One of the Blue Beetles, the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle.
Right. So this is going in to be a film.
Yep.
HBO Max. So I think now is the time to jump on this. The prices are not crazy expensive. Talk a little bit about the Blue Beetle, because it looks like the 2006 version of the Blue Beetle is the one that we're going to see in the movie. I don't know if you want to talk about the legacy Blue Beetle or the 2006 Blue Beetle, but talk to us a little bit about Blue Beetle. What are his powers? What does he do? What's his story?
Yeah, so Blue Beetle was a character called Dan Garrett who got a Blue Beetle that gave him super strength and was a superhero in the Golden Age. Then it was passed down to one of his proteges, archaeologist protege and smart guy, Ted Kord, who had it. No powers at all. Had the Scarab, didn't do anything. In the DC Comics, Ted Kord dies, and the Beetle, the actual Scarab, as in the Rock of Eternity, Shazam, it explodes, it lands on Earth. Jaime Reyes picks it up, a teenager, it grafts itself to his back, and it gives him all kinds of stuff. He's got a suit of armor. He can make guns out of his hands. The Scarab is an alien technology that once given to an alien, it gives him the suit of armor to kind of fight things. This is kind of a new character, but Jaime's been in the Young Justice cartoon. They've been using him a lot in pretty much almost all the DC stuff. So, this movie's going to really put it in the forefront. And like you said, it's still a newer book. They're expensive, but it's not crazy right now.
Any particular reason why you think they went down the Blue Beetle path?
I think it's just a character they've had for years. And they just, the Ted Kord Blue Beetle wasn't a popular character at the time. Mm-hmm. He didn't have his own series. He wasn't really showing up anywhere. So they just rebooted him. They do this with a lot of legacy characters. They just give him a new name. I mean, how many Green Lanterns have there been since the Hal Jordan one, right? They just. But
Green Lantern has more of a name recognition,
Yeah.
Okay, so Blue Beetle, the 2006 version, Infinite Crisis number 5. They printed a lot of copies of these.
Printed a lot of copies.
That we know. Infinite Crisis number 5, April of 2006. It's a 50-50 cover with George Perez. Interestingly enough, the Jim Lee cover has the Blue Beetle on the cover. It looks great. George Perez cover is a great cover, but it's got Superman, so it's in way less demand. Sure. If you're going to spend the money, might as well just buy the Jim Lee cover.
Right.
Jeff Johns' story, by the way. And there are 257. So when it's a 50-50 cover split, CGC does not break out how many Jim Lees or how many George Perez's there are. So
it's just all together.
This is a combined. Yeah, this is a combined number. 257 blue labels, 9/8, 21 gold label 9/8. The Jim Lee 9/8 is about $530. The George Perez one is about $175. It's simply just a matter of the Blue Beetle being the main character on the Jim Lee cover. A 9.6 is about $225. Interestingly enough, they did make a second print, but the second print is a George Perez sketch cover, not the Jim Lee sketch cover. There are 69 blue label 9/8, 4 gold label 9/8. That's also about $175 book. If there was a Jim Lee version, it would be over $500, $600.
Yeah, definitely.
Based on that. And then later on, a month later, a month after Infinite Crisis number 5 came out, Blue Beetle number 1.
Yep.
So that was May 2006. 42 blue label 9.8s, 1 gold label 9.8. There's actually 2 blue label 9.9s. That's about a $200 book. It's a Cully Hammer art as well. There's a second print and a third print. The second print is 2 blue label 9/8. The third print is 1 blue label 9/8. Those are about $10 to $15 raw. I would snatch those up at 10 or 15 bucks.
Yeah.
The 2011 Blue Beetle, I don't really want to talk about too much. It feels like they went in a completely different direction art-wise and story-wise on that. I don't know if the film is going to be based on that version. It's about a $3 to $5 book. It came out in November of 2011. So I think really the 2006 series, The Infinite Crisis, and the Blue Beetle one is the one to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Agreed. All right. What do we got? Alex's pick of the week, my friend. What do we got today?
HasLab crowdfunding toys.
Wow. Did you see the Galactus?
It's humongous. Yeah, I saw it. I'm this close. I'm one more extra job away from putting my money down and buying one. It's amazing. And I love that they're doing these crowdfunding. It's automatic sales. They know exactly how many to make. It's perfect. It's a limited edition. If you want one, you can buy one. Anybody can buy one right now, but you have a limited time. When August 31st, 30th hits, that's it. You cannot buy it. If it's funded, you get yours. If it doesn't, you don't have to spend any money. But these things are amazing. The Razor Crest is huge. The Transformer, the World Eater is huge. They did the sail barge, Jabba sail barge, and you see those at cons. I mean, that was a $300 buy-in. Those are $600 to $1,000 toys now. Like, if you're a flipper, this is also a great way to go because you will definitely make your money back double if you snag one of these before it runs out.
It reminds me of the WizKids when WizKids used to do the oversized,
the Hero Clicks. Yeah.
Oh my God, those things. There used to be, like, I don't want to say riots, but they used to, when those used to be show exclusives.
Yeah.
Back when we were running the shows, I mean, it would be like
running. The doors open and people are just sprinting. Bananas.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, I saw the Galactus. I was blown away. You know, it's funny. Every time every time I see stuff like that, I think to myself, man, when we were kids, we didn't really have that opportunity to get that kind of stuff.
No.
But okay. But you know what? The kids today, they're lucky. All right, what do we got next? All right, what do we got next, Alex?
Classic V for Vendetta.
Yeah, so this has seen a renaissance, and the prices have been going absolutely crazy. I don't know why. You and I have talked about it before, and we've seen it with the sports cards as well. A lot of the vintage nostalgia stuff, the stuff that's at the high end, whether it's the Hulk 181s or the X-Men 94s or the giant size number ones, anything that's classic, even the Batman 428s that we discussed a few weeks ago, those have doubled since we spoke about them.
Bananas. Crazy.
Anything classic and unique, because remember, unlike the sports cards where you could still open up a pack or maybe somebody finds one and it's preserved, comics, any little nick or spine break, that's it. There's no 9/8s.
Yeah.
So, and even a 9/6 is hard. So you're not gonna really uncover high grade versions of these comics. Anybody who's been to shows realizes that there really aren't any ungraded high grade stuff still out there really available to be graded, unlike the sports stuff. So anyway, there's been a renaissance.
Yeah.
So V for Vendetta first appeared in Warrior number 1, which was a UK comic from Quality Comics. It was Alan Moore, of course, back in 1982, predated V for Vendetta by 6 years.
Yeah.
This Warrior book is almost impossible to find. He also did it with Dave Gibbons as well, interestingly enough.
Yes.
And then also Marvel Man was in that book.
It was the first. It's the first issue of Marvel Man. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting. It's an extra book. You're getting the first chapter of V for Vendetta and the first Marvel Man stuff.
Right.
Real
and
cool.
interesting. Bolton and Dylan were also working on that book. So it had
There's a lot of people.
A lot of creators in there. Okay. So Warrior number 1, March of 1982, 1 blue label, 0 gold label 9/6. There are no 9/8s.
Wow.
5 blue label 9.4s, 12 blue label 9.2s, 11 blue label 9.0. So if you add 90 up, There's 23, 28, 29 books in the census. An 8.0 recently sold for $700. It's a $300 to $400 raw book. To me, that's a good book to buy if you can find it really in any condition, because there are no high grade books out there. And then V for Vendetta #1. Interestingly enough, September 1988, there were 381 blue label 9.8s, 36 gold label 9.8s. The gold labels are probably all Gibbons, because I don't think Alan Moore's ever signed
Lloyd,
those. Maybe
Lloyd on those. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lloyd. I'm sorry, Lloyd. Right. And that was probably maybe Alan Moore signed a copy. No, because it wouldn't get in Signature Series.
Nope.
Yeah, Signature Series started in 1997 or 2000. So I don't think there would be any. Yeah, it wouldn't have been any there. So that's about a $300+ book on eBay, but one sold for $840 at Heritage. So I wonder if there's a little bit of a disconnect there, where you're starting to see the book climb, but it hasn't quite caught up yet.
Yeah.
But they are hard to find. They don't come up for sale. I think a lot of those are in personal collections. Again, that's sort of a grail book for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The movie holds up over time. Hugo Weaving, Natalie Portman. Movie definitely holds up over time. I wish we can get a Hugo Weaving signing. That would be pretty cool.
Oh boy.
Also the Red Skull. The Red Skull. Okay. All right. What do we got next, Alex?
Yeah, let's talk about Midnight Man.
Right. So
somebody really took a day off when they were naming characters.
Right. So the new Disney series, Moon Knight, just announced that they're going to have Midnight Man. It's going to be played by a French actor named Gaspard Ulliel. I hope I pronounced his name correctly.
Better than me.
So you're going to start to see that book rocket. I want to say the book is scarce. It's not like there's a million of them, but they are hard to find. It is an older book. It's from 1981. Talk a little bit about Midnight Man, Alex.
This isn't a character that's like the main villain against Moon Knight or anything. I mean, he's been in some Moon Knight comics, but essentially it was just he was a thief and he stole things at midnight and he kept them in his house and he did fight Moon Knight. And then there's a quick little story of like Moon Knight defeats him, but he falls in some water in New York and gets scarred and lives in the sewers. And then he eventually does die. And like his son takes over and he was Moon Knight's protege for a little while. It'll just be interesting. It's like Batroc the Leaper, when you saw him in Captain America, he's been around, but it's not one of the main villains, no Red Skull, so it's fun that they're bringing these characters in. I mean, if you're doing Moon Knight stuff, you might as well use Moon Knight characters.
Yeah. And I don't know this actor very well. I'm not sure what the characteristics were that made him the right actor for the part. I guess we'll see over time. I'm not familiar with any of his work, but we'll see. So Moon Knight #3, January of 81, 35 blue label 9.8s, 2 gold label 9.8s. There are 62 blue label 9.6s and 2 gold label 9.6s. The last one sold for $950. Wow. But the asks are starting to be much, much, much higher now since the announcement. $150 in 9.6. It's the first appearance of Midnight Man. Also, it does have a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. And then the next Midnight Man appearance to take a look at is Moon Knight #9, July of 1981. 43 blue label and 1 gold label 9.8, 25 blue label and 3 gold label 9.6. Those are about $200. Bill Sienkiewicz art with a Frank Miller cover. How about that, Alex? It's a pretty good combination, right?
It's a good book.
Yeah, so I think if you're going to look at 2 Midnight Man books, these are the 2 to look at. They're going to start to skyrocket because 35 pop on a 9.8 is not much. Even 62 pop on a 9.6 is not much. Yeah. So I would be looking at that.
Totally.
All right, cool. What are we closing with today, Alex?
The main character, I guess you will say, of the What If series, the Watcher.
Right. It is interesting how they have all these different what ifs. And the way they tie them together was through the Watcher, right? Played by Jeffrey Wright. So talk a little bit about the Watcher and why do you think Marvel chose the Watcher to sort of string these episodes together? Do you think we're going to see him in the MCU, or you think it's just strictly a what if kind of a thing?
Who knows? I mean, he was they were in the after credit scene with Stan Lee in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So there was a fun little, him and Stan Lee in a spacesuit talking about things. It's cool because the Watcher was used in the original What If comic book series as, someone just being like, hey, you love Spider-Man, but in another timeline, it was Gwen Stacy who was Spider-Man. And we know that all of these kind of like different alternate reality ideas have been used a lot lately. And so using the Watcher as the central character to tell these just makes the most sense.
Right. Okay. Well, the books are flying again.
Yep.
Very old character. Fantastic Four number 13, April of 63. I won't talk about gold labels because there's really not that many, but there's 1 blue label 9/8, 3 blue label 9/6s, 8 blue label 9/4s, and 14 blue label 9/2s, and 16 blue label 9/0s. It's about a $5,500 book in 7.5. A lot of that is just because it's an early FF an early FF book anyway. It's the first appearance of the Red Ghost, not a character I've heard of, and the Watcher. Interestingly enough, there's an ad in there for Tales of Suspense number 39. Imagine seeing that ad. Oh, and Amazing Spider-Man number 1.
Who are these spider people? Yeah.
Right. Stan Lee's story, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko art with a Jack Kirby cover. So that book was already expensive even before the Watcher. It's almost the perfect book, right? I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, hey, we have Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko art with a story by Stan Lee. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I'll take 2.
Then go back to the Tales of Suspense, like we discussed, number 53, May of 64, 1 blue label 9/8, 11 blue label 9/6s, 13 blue label 9/4s, 25 blue label 9/2, and 29 blue label 9/0s. That's about a $500 book in 8.0. But like I said, Alex, there's one person out there who has a 9.8 on that book. There's also a UK price variant of the book. It gives the origin of the Watcher.
Yes.
Second appearance of Black Widow, by the way.
Another big book.
Again, a Stan Lee story with a Jack Kirby cover as well. The last book to take a look at on the Watcher is Silver Surfer number 1 from August of 60. Yeah, from August of 68. That book was always expensive to begin with, so I don't think we're giving you any information that you wouldn't have known, and I don't know that you're going to see that much of a rise because that book has always been hot anyway.
Totally.
9 blue label 9.8s, 39 blue label 9.6s, 97 blue label 9.4s, and 103 blue label 9.2s. In a 6.0, that's about a $1,400 to $1,500 book. They very rarely come up in high grade. It's a classic Silver Surfer cover. It's the origin of the Silver Surfer, but the Tales of the Watcher begin.
Yep.
And it's the origin of the Watchers with the Stan Lee story, John Buscema cover. So that sort of gives you the origin of the Watcher and the Watchers itself. So I think any great book.
Any grade
you see. Okay. Well, that wraps up another great show this week, Alex. I thank you for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the field, and we will see you everybody next week. Same bat time.
Same bat channel.